What happens when a single act of rage shatters not just a mirror, but lives, dreams, and the fragile bonds of a community? The sun hung low over Willow Creek Farm, casting golden streaks across the rolling hills of Vermont. Our family's gym, a rustic barn converted into a haven for fitness enthusiasts, stood proudly at the edge of the property. It wasn't just a gym, it was a sanctuary. People came to sweat, to heal, to find themselves amidst the creaking wooden beams and the faint scent of hay. My name is Eliza, and alongside my husband, Marcus, we poured our hearts into this place. It was our dream, built from years of saving and sacrificing, a place where everyone was welcome, or so we thought. Karen arrived one crisp October morning, her SUV screeching into the gravel lot. She was new to town, a city transplant with a sharp tongue and an air of entitlement that seemed to clash with the farm's easygoing vibe. She strode in, her designer leggings and pristine sneakers a stark contrast to the worn-out mats and repurposed tractor tires. "This is quaint," she said, her voice dripping with condescension as she scanned the room. Marcus, ever the optimist, welcomed her warmly, offering a free trial session. I watched from the front desk, uneasy but hopeful she'd find something here to soften her edges. Karen's presence was like a storm cloud. She complained about the music, too folksy, the equipment, outdated, and even the water fountain tastes like rust. But she kept coming back, week after week, her workouts intense but joyless. She'd bark orders at other members, demanding they move faster or clear space for her. Most folks just shrugged it off. Small-town patience runs deep, but I could see the tension building, like a rope fraying under strain. One evening, during a packed HIIT class, it happened. The barn was alive with energy, sweat-soaked bodies moving in rhythm to Marcus's encouragement. Karen, stationed near the full-length mirrors we'd installed for form checks, was struggling with a kettlebell swing. Her face was red, her breaths ragged. "This is impossible," she snapped, slamming the kettlebell down. The room paused, eyes darting her way. Marcus, calm as ever, approached her. "Let's adjust your form, Karen. You've got this." But Karen didn't want help. She wanted control. "Don't patronize me," she shouted, her voice echoing off the rafters. Before anyone could react, she grabbed a nearby dumbbell and hurled it at the mirror. The glass shattered with a sickening crash, shards raining down like jagged tears. Gasps filled the room. A young woman, Lila, who'd been quietly stretching nearby, let out a small cry as a piece of glass nicked her arm. Blood trickled down, staining her sleeve. Chaos erupted. Marcus rushed to Lila, pressing a towel to her wound, while I called for calm. Karen stood frozen, her face a mix of defiance and shock. "It's just a mirror," she muttered, as if that excused everything. But it wasn't just a mirror. It was our livelihood, our trust, our community. And it was broken. The next day, we assessed the damage. The mirror was one of 6, custom-ordered, costing $2,000 to replace. Worse, Lila needed stitches and was shaken, her trust in the gym's safety shattered. Marcus and I sat down that night, hearts heavy. "We can't let this slide," he said, his voice low. "She could have seriously hurt someone." I nodded, though the thought of legal action made my stomach churn. We weren't those people, the ones who sued. But this wasn't just about us. It was about everyone who called our gym home. We filed a claim for damages, expecting a straightforward resolution. Karen, however, had other plans. She lawyered up, hiring a slick attorney from the city who spun a tale of emotional distress caused by our negligent gym environment. She countersued, claiming the mirrors were poorly installed and the equipment unsafe. It was absurd, but it was effective. The legal battle stretched on for months, draining our savings and our spirits. The gym, once a place of laughter and camaraderie, felt hollow. Members stopped coming, wary of the drama. Enter Tom, a quiet regular who'd been with us since the beginning. He was a retired carpenter, always tinkering in his workshop, with a gentle smile and a knack for fixing things. He'd never said much, but he was always there, sweeping up after classes or tightening loose bolts on the equipment. One day, As Marcus and I pored over legal documents, Tom knocked on our office door. "I've got something you should see," he said, his voice steady but urgent. He handed us a small USB drive. "I installed a security camera in the barn a while back," he confessed. "Didn't think much of it, just wanted to keep an eye on things. But it caught everything that night." My heart raced as we plugged the drive into our laptop. There it was, clear footage of Karen's outburst, the dumbbell flying, the mirror shattering. More importantly, it showed Marcus's calm attempt to help and Lila's injury. It was undeniable proof of Karen's recklessness. Tom's quiet act of foresight changed everything. We presented the footage in court, and the judge's face hardened as he watched. Karen's attorney stammered, his arguments crumbling. The ruling came swiftly. Karen was liable for the damages $2,000 for the mirror, plus $5,000 for Lila's medical bills and emotional distress. But the real blow was the court fees. Karen's frivolous countersuit had racked up costs, and the judge, fed up with her tactics, ordered her to pay $110,000 in legal fees to cover both sides. We thought it was over. Justice, in some form, had been served. But the victory was bittersweet. The gym's reputation was tarnished, and our finances were in tatters. Karen, humiliated and financially crippled, left town without a word. I heard later she'd sold her SUV to cover part of the fees, a small detail that brought no comfort. The real cost wasn't the money, it was the trust we'd lost. One evening, as Marcus and I sat in the empty barn, staring at the new mirror we could barely afford, Lila walked in. She hadn't been back since the incident, and her presence startled us. Her arm was healed, but her eyes carried a weight. "I'm not here to work out," she said softly, sitting across from us. I needed to tell you something." She took a deep breath, her voice trembling. "That night, when the mirror broke, I wasn't just scared. I was angry, not at you but at myself. I've been struggling with anxiety for years, and the gym was the one place I felt strong. When Karen did that, it felt like she took that away from me." Tears welled in her eyes, and I reached for her hand. "But I realized something," she continued. "This place isn't just about the equipment or the mirrors. It's about you two and Tom and everyone who keeps showing up. I'm not giving up on it, and neither should you." Her words hit like a thunderbolt. We'd been so focused on the loss, the legal battle, the broken glass, that we'd forgotten what the gym truly was. A community. Lila's courage and Tom's quiet heroism reminded us of that. But the road ahead was daunting. The gym was on the brink of closing, and no amount of heart could pay the bills. Months later, we made the hardest decision of our lives. We sold Willow Creek Farm. The new owners promised to keep the gym running, but it wouldn't be ours anymore. On our last day, as we packed up the office, I found a small note tucked under a stack of papers. It was from Tom, written in his neat, careful handwriting. "You built something real. Don't let one storm tear it down." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that the gym and everything it stood for would live on. But as Marcus and I drove away, the barn fading in the rearview mirror, my heart ached with a truth too heavy to name. Karen's rage had broken more than a mirror, it had fractured our dreams, our community, and the fragile hope we'd clung to. The $110,000 court fee was a number, a headline, but the real cost was our home, our purpose, and the pieces of ourselves we left behind. ND.